Good evening, sir. Vice Lord Lieutenant, High Sheriff, Assembly Member, Councillors, Commodore, Chief Executive, and honoured guests. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lord Lieutenant's Awards ceremony for Clwyd for 2022. Throughout the year, reservists in Wales provide valuable support to our regular armed forces, both at home, on operational duties, and in their local community. Our cadets, whether from the Sea Cadet Corps, the Army Cadet Force, RAF Cadets, or the Combined Cadet Force, grow and develop into responsible, confident young citizens, achieving enormous training and sporting success, as well as providing support in their communities through many and varied interests. These endeavours help maintain the good name of the armed forces in Wales. Meanwhile, our adult volunteers devote time, energy, and effort that is truly humbling to ensure that our cadets gain maximum benefit from what, for many, can be life-changing experiences in preparation for adult life. The award ceremonies, held annually by the Lord Lieutenant of Wales, are an opportunity for deserving individuals to be publicly recognised within the community in which they live and serve for their contribution to the reserves and to their cadet forces. This evening, Her Majesty's Vice Lord Lieutenant Clwyd will be making the following presentations: the Lord Lieutenant Certificate of Merit, the Lord Lieutenant Cadet Certificate and Lord Lieutenant's Badge for 2021, last year's service, and the Lord Lieutenant's Cadet Appointments for 22. The Lord Lieutenant Certificate of Merit. The Lord Lieutenant Certificate of Merit records the Lord Lieutenant's gratitude and recognition for outstanding service and devotion to duty. This year, there are 3 certificates that are awarded as follows. Staff Sergeant Instructor Owen Peters.
Sir.
Staff Sergeant Instructor Owen Peters joined the Army Cadet Force as a 13-year-old in 2010. He remained as a cadet for 6 years before he decided to join as a cadet Force adult volunteer at Wrexham Detachment in 2016. During his time as a cadet, Owen particularly excelled with the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, achieving Bronze Award in 2013 and Silver Award in 2018. The Duke of Edinburgh's Award has continued to be an interest and passion for Staff Sergeant Instructor Peters, and he is a stalwart member of the team that delivered the award in Clwyd and Gwynedd Army Cadet Force, having become an accredited expeditions supervisor in 2020. The valuable support he gives to the team means that the young people he supports can achieve all sections of this award. Owen spent time ensuring he is qualified in areas outside the normal Army Cadet Force syllabus. In particular, he is a qualified first aid trainer, a qualified signals instructor, and more recently, he has taken on the responsibility of Company Quartermaster Sergeant and is responsible for the issuing, return, and maintenance of the kit and equipment given to his cadets for weekend and other training. Quite a responsibility for somebody so young. Alongside this, Staff Sergeant Instructor Peters has recently qualified as a primary school teacher and currently teaches at Baghill Primary School. It is testament to Owen that his support of ACF activities during his teacher training never wavered. Further to his Army Cadet Force volunteering, Staff Sergeant Instructor Peters is also part of the committee that helps to run his local British Legion branch in Clay. He regularly supports fundraising activities in and around Wrexham and encourages his cadets to support them as well. In recognition of his achievements to date and for the dedication shown towards Clwyd and Gwynedd Army Cadet Force, Staff Sergeant Instructor Owen Peters is fully recommended for the award of the Lord Lieutenant Certificate of Merit for 2022. Warrant Officer Anthony Rutter.
Sir.
Warrant Officer Tony Rutter has been a Cadet Forces adult volunteer in number 2 Welsh Wing since 2011. Over this period of voluntary service, he has served on 2 squadrons, 1251 Byrne Squadron and 2279 Wrexham Squadron. Warrant Officer Rutter epitomises the core values of the RAF Air Cadets, especially service before self. Tony stood up in the time of need to command 1251 Byrne Squadron and was fundamental in its sustainability as a unit. Having led 1251 Squadron for a number of years, Warrant Officer Rutter handed over the command and transferred to 2279 Squadron at Wrexham, who, the squadron, were in need of skills and experience that he could bring as a senior non-commissioned officer. Alongside this, he also continued to develop junior staff within the area. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Warrant Officer Rutter's dedication and commitment to the Corps was shown once again, being fundamental in the ability of the unit to transition to online virtual training. Tony was present at almost all of the sessions run by both the local squadron and also on sector-based activity. It was clear that without Warrant Officer Rutter's continued enthusiasm for engaging the cadets, the squadron would not have been able to return to face-to-face training as swiftly as they have been able to do. Since returning to parade nights, Tony has been as committed as ever to delivering training with the squadron, as well as his current duties as the squadron warrant officer, which he fulfilled for a number of years. It is without hesitation that Warrant Officer Tony Rutter is recommended for the Lord Lieutenant's Certificate of Merit. Retired Martin Mccall.
Sir.
Martin Mccall joined 1378 Mould Squadron Royal Air Force Air Cadets initially as a member of the Civilian Committee, where he worked to support the squadron with fundraising and other community activities. As time progressed, Martin took on the role as Squadron Padre, where his primary role was to support the cadets and staff with their emotional well-being. Martin was extremely dedicated and would often visit or phone staff who were ill or injured to make sure that they were okay and had any support that was required. Martin's passion and dedication were rewarded with appointment to the role of Wing Padre. And in this role, he worked tirelessly to ensure that as many squadrons as possible had Padres posts and to support the squadrons that didn't. No mean feat in a wing that spans 2,000 square miles. Even as he submitted his resignation, he was actively looking for Padres to fill vacancies on squadrons. In his personal life, Martin is a pillar of his community, supporting not only his local church, but also adopting several children and ensuring that he supports them even now they are grown up, by driving them to and from work, often in the early hours of the morning. In 2020, during the COVID pandemic, Martin made the tough decision to resign from RAF Air Cadet duties at the age of 75. His absence has been keenly felt by staff and cadets. And in a personal note from his squadron commander states, "I have known Martin since assuming command of 1378 Squadron in 2016, and his help, support and advice were invaluable." In recognition of his exceptional contribution to the cadets and staff of the RAF Air Cadets, Reverend Martin Mccall is strongly recommended for the award of the Lord Lieutenant's Certificate of Merit. Lieutenant certificate, cadet certificates and badge for 2021 for last year's service. The Lord Lieutenant's cadet certificate and badge are awarded to members of the cadet forces in recognition of those individual cadets' performance during the previous year in support of the Lord Lieutenant. This year, for their performance during 2021, the certificates and badges are awarded to Cadet Company Sergeant Major Ethan Thomas from Clwyd and Gwynedd ACF, Cadet Warrant Officer Oliver Hurd Edwards from number 2 Welsh Wing RAF Air Cadets, and from St Bridget's School CCF, Cadet Warrant Officer Harriet Gaskin.
Sir.
The Lord Lieutenant's cadets appointments for this year, 2022. The Lord Lieutenant has a number of cadets each year nominated by the Sea Cadet Corps, the Army Cadet Force, the RAF Air Cadets, and the Combined Cadet Force. Cadets are nominated for their outstanding contribution to their respective cadet units. The cadet will support the Lord Lieutenant on special occasions such as royal visits, remembrance parades, and civic events. For 2022, the appointed Lord Lieutenant cadets for Clwyd are as follows. Cadet Corporal Isabel Jones.
Sir.
Cadet Corporal Isabel Jones joined Clwyd and Gwynedd Army Cadet Force in October 2018. She has completed her 2-star Army Proficiency Cadet Award and is working towards her 3-star qualification. In August 2021, in recognition of her hard work and dedication to date, she was promoted to the rank of Corporal. Isabella was recently diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic, and watching her come to terms with this and to carry on with her cadet career has been inspirational to both adults and cadets alike. She manages her condition well and does not let it stop her from participating in any events. And Isabella has attended both summer and October annual camps this year alone, as well as the normal weekend training. Cadet Corporal Jones received her county colours for sports in January 2019 and subsequently her national colours in June 2019 for representing Wales in sports. Isabella is working towards her silver Duke of Edinburgh Award and has already completed a number of the required sections. Outside cadets, Isabella regularly marshals at running events. Whilst at the detachment, Cadet Corporal Jones is pivotal in organising competitions and quizzes for the cadets. As a young person, she always leads from the front and sets an excellent example to her peers and also to the junior cadets. She is always willing to try new activities and regularly volunteers for events. Isabella's goal is to join the armed forces on completion of her studies. Cadet Corporal Isabel Jones is a shining example of the calibre of young person within the Army Cadet Force and is highly recommended for the appointment of Lord Lieutenant's Cadet for Clwyd for 2022. Also from Clwyd and Gwynedd ACF, Cadet Corporal Cara Venables.
Sir.
Cadet Corporal Cara Venables has been part of the Army Cadet Force for 4 years and was promoted to the rank of Corporal in September 2021. Unfortunately, due to the recent COVID-19 lockdown, she has been unable to progress through her syllabus as she would normally have done. Had this not been the case, then she would easily have been a more senior non-commissioned officer by this point in time. Cara is currently training towards her 3-star Proficiency Award and has only 1 or 2 elements required to complete. Cara gives 100% to the Army Cadet Force. Her attendance throughout COVID-19 and since the return to training has been impeccable, and has attended all annual camps and weekends that are available to her. Cadet Corporal Venables is a joy to have in the detachment. She's a great role model for the younger cadets within the detachment and is a born leader. The junior cadets naturally gravitate towards her experience and enthusiasm for the organisation, and Ciara is working towards her Bronze Duke of Edinburgh Award and has represented the county at sport in May 2018 and at shooting in May 2019. In her spare time, Cadet Corporal Venables works with children with additional physical needs, teaching them to swim. Ciara also enjoys playing rugby and walking and is always willing to put herself forward to help others. Cadet Corporal Ciara Venables is an exemplary cadet and is an outstanding candidate for the appointment of Lord Lieutenant Cadet for Clwyd 2022. From number 2 Welsh Wing, RAF Air Cadets, Cadet Flight Sergeant Kristen Harrison.
Sir.
Cadet Flight Sergeant Kristen Harrison joined number 2247 Harden Squadron, Royal Air Force Cadets, in October 2016 at the age of 12. Currently studying for A-levels in maths, further maths and physics at Harden High School, where he is head boy. He also works part-time as a waiter at a local hotel. Flight Sergeant Harrison lives with his parents, Paul and Kathleen, in Harden. His older sister, Lucy, meanwhile, is reading law at Bristol. Following completion of his A-levels, Cadet Flight Sergeant Harrison aspires to commission in the Royal Air Force. Over his 5-year career to date, Christian has embraced the full range of cadet activities. He has achieved marksmanship awards on both small and full-bore rifles, represented the wing in sports including football and athletics, undertaken air experience flying in the Tutor light aircraft and the Chinook helicopter, and performed in the squadron and wing marching bands. Cadet Flight Sergeant Harrison's staunch commitment to the squadron continued throughout and despite the COVID-19 pandemic, whilst operations switched to the virtual world. He actively contributed to the organisation of online activity in order to maintain interest among the cadets. Cadet Flight Sergeant Harrison's key achievements as a cadet to date include membership of the Wales and West Regional Ceremonial Flight, and this is for several years, during which time he has been part of the championship-winning team on 2 consecutive years. The flight has also undertaken public drill performances to music at RAF Cosford Air Show, boasting performance in front of the Chief of the Air Staff amongst its high-ranking audience. Initially a quiet and reserved young person, Cadet Flight Sergeant Kristen Harrison has grown in confidence and leadership over the past 5 years, and his recent promotion and appointment as a Squadron Senior Cadet is a testament to that growth. His appointment as Lord Lieutenant Cadet for Clwyd is strongly recommended. From St Bridget's School CCF, Cadet Sergeant Maddy Byrne.
Sir.
Cadet Sergeant Maddy Byrne has been part of St Bridget's School Combined Cadet Force since September 2018. She attends every event and takes part in all activities of the contingent. She is a proficient instructor across the cadet syllabus and is experienced in teaching the younger cadets. Maddy has recently completed her formal methods of instruction course to take place in the contingent cadet instructor team. Cadet Sergeant Maggie Byrne completed her CCF basic proficiency in September 2019, and it is the only withdrawal and it is only the withdrawal of all weapons by the Army that had prevented her from passing her CCF Advanced Proficiency Award. Cadet Sergeant Byrne has been on camp at Warrant Training Centre in Cumbria in 2019 and has attended 2 multi-activity camps at Inskip Cadet Training Centre in 2018 and 2021. She has passed her shooting proficiency on air rifle and her British Heart Foundation Heart Start First Aid qualification. Maddy completed her Duke of Edinburgh Bronze Level Award in October 2019, her Silver Level Award in October 2020, and has now started on her Gold Level Award. She is an experienced indoor climber, having passed National Indoor Climbing Award Scheme qualifications, this mostly in her own time. Cadet Sergeant Byrne has been part of Ruthin Guides, assisting at meetings, and Ruthin Surrey Club, taking part in competitions. She helped with school lunchtime cookery club for Year 7s and now helps with netball training, again, all this in her own time. Cadet Sergeant Byrne has been part of Ruthin Guides, assisting at meetings, and Ruthin Surrey Club, taking part in competitions. She helped with school lunchtime cookery club for Year 7s and now helps with netball training, again, all this in her own time. Maddy is an enthusiastic cyclist, regularly travelling tens of miles. She has orienteered at many events and has represented Wales. She is developing her gardening skills in growing her own vegetables and is competent at sewing, making her own clothes, and sews all the proficiency badges for the contingent. Cadet Sergeant Maddy Byrne is an outstanding individual who is worthy of selection as Lord Lieutenant for Clwyd's Cadet for 2022. Also from St Bridget's School CCF, Cadet Sergeant Bethan Shutt.
Sir.
Cadet Sergeant Bethan Shutt has been part of St Bridget's School CCF since September 2018. She comes to all contingent events and is an enthusiastic participant in all contingent activities. She is a proficient instructor who is experienced in teaching the younger cadets and has recently completed her formal Methods of Instruction course to take place in the contingent cadet instructor team. Bethan completed her RAF Basic Proficiency Part 1 in February 2019 and has passed shooting tests on both air rifle and cadet general purpose rifle, the latter as a marksman. She has passed her British Heart Foundation Heart Start First Aid qualification in both 2018 and in 2019. Cadet Sergeant Shutt has attended camp at RAF Wittering in July 2019 and at 3 multi-activity camps at Inskip Cadet Training Centre in 2018, 19 and 2021. She has taken part in 2 years of the National RAF Air Cadet Ground Training Competition in 2019 and 2020, both times going to the national finals as part of the contingent's very successful squad. Cadet Sergeant Shutt has flown 3 times at RAF Woodvale and RAF Cosford, in completing her Blue Wings in February 2020. She took part in the RAF Air Cadets 80th Anniversary Day at RAF Cosford, which culminated in a 45-minute flight in a Chinook. Bethan completed her Duke of Edinburgh Bronze Level Award in 2019, her Silver Level Award in November 2020, and has started on her Gold Award. She is an experienced indoor climber, passing National Indoor Climbing Award Scheme qualifications in 2019 and in 2020, and has been part of the contingent team at the All Wales Cadet Indoor Climbing Competition. Cadet Sergeant Bethan Shutt is part of all that the RAF section do, and she is worthy of being appointed as one of the Lord Lieutenant for Clwyd's Cadets for 2022. award ceremony, and I wonder if you might like to see a few words.
Thank you. I must say how delighted I am to have presented the awards tonight. I understand and appreciate the significance of these occasions. The importance of such awards cannot be underestimated, as the world in which we live places so much emphasis on celebrity and soundbites. Those who truly give so much are sometimes missed out. So much still remains uncertain and unpredictable because of the pandemic. But tonight we are delighted to have the opportunity to reward some of those who have made the time to give something back to society and serve their community. The occasion demonstrates to us the very best dedication and commitment by those who serve in our reserve forces and cadet force family. And this is demonstrated by how impressive the citations were, and I wish all recipients well in their future endeavours. Today, our reserve forces have a hugely important role to play in the defence of our country, a role that has been enhanced and reinforced in the government's recent Future Reserves 2030 strategy. Reservists have demonstrated so much commitment and dedication, supporting their regular counterparts in every operation in the 21st century. They remain committed to serving their country, and we are most fortunate in having such fine part-time soldiers, sailors and aviators. They are part of our communities and we are very proud of them. It is interesting to note that approximately 100 reservists were mobilised last year to support training teams and exercises abroad, as well as backfilling gaps within regular forces at home. In addition, a further 200 reservists were among 1,300 personnel deployed in Wales last year to support the fight against COVID-19 by supporting operations rooms, driving ambulances, deep cleaning ambulances, and supporting testing. We should also acknowledge the considerable effort and endeavour by all our servicemen and women. Their contribution to society is invaluable. Likewise, the cadet forces are truly amazing organisations, where the mixture of military training, youth work, civilian qualifications and community work helps develop our young people to make ready to take their place in society. They too deserve our full support. Of course, the success of the cadet forces is not only down to the young people themselves. The cadet forces would not operate but for the superb dedication and commitment of the officers and adult volunteers who give up their free time to make the organisations work. In the wake of the pandemic, I should pay tribute to the ingenuity of many cadet forces adults who have developed online training to enthuse our cadets when face-to-face training has been impossible. It has been hugely successful, and they deserve our sincere thanks for their sterling contribution. I also wish to thank the guests here tonight for finding the time to join us and hear the excellent accomplishments of the reserves and cadets. I would like to make a special thank you to the parents for their continued support and commitment. The numbers attending tonight's ceremony demonstrate your enthusiasm and dedication to your young people and support of the cadet movement. Thank you for all that you do and are doing. Getting into the car on a very wet and dark evening and driving your children to cadets after a full day working, followed by making sure the family is fed and watered, is no mean feat. You trust your children to the care of the cadet forces, sometimes twice a week and a number of weekends a year. We are so grateful for your support. My final thanks also go to the Reserve Forces and Cadets Association for Wales for organising this evening. And finally, once again, I'd like to congratulate all those who have received their awards tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that almost concludes for this evening, but before we move to the social side of the evening, we're very lucky to have with us tonight from Hightown, the Station Commando, Colonel Nick Locke, who has kindly agreed to say a few words about things that are happening here at Hightown. Thank you, sir. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Vice Commander Lieutenant, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure. I wear a number of hats in North Wales. I'm here tonight as the Honorary Colonel for Clwyd and Gwynedd Cadets, which is a huge privilege for me. And just seeing the vibrance of that organisation is an inspiration, I think, to everybody, and particularly to the audience here tonight. But I'm also head of establishment here at Hightown Barracks. And I came back to Wales about 3 years ago, and Hightown had a pretty uncertain future at that point. But working very closely with RCA and another number of other bodies, I think the story is very different today. So we went from having a platoon of the Royal Welsh, 3 Royal Welsh here, and a ACF detachment. We now have the Royal Air Force Cadet detachment here. We have a detachment from 203 Field Hospital, which is a reserve unit which recruits locally. The workshops from the local transport regiment are also based here. And then we also have work ongoing at the moment to turn the top floor here into a defence mental health clinic for service personnel to receive a mental health treatment here in the future, which is great news. And then finally we have the Motivational Preparation and Training College, who've now moved onto site as well. So we have youngsters being trained and educated on a daily basis here in Hightown Barracks, which brings a real sense of energy to this location. And then finally, most recently, as part of the integrated review, the re-establishment of A Company 3 Royal Welsh here as a sub-unit in itself, which is a real final icing on the cake to ensure that the barracks has a very clear and bright future. We're very conscious of our heritage here and our relationship with the town, and almost on a daily basis we have contact with soldiers and veterans who have served here in the past. Last week I hosted the actor William Roach, who at the age of 90, there's a documentary being made on him. He served in 1952, he came here to do his basic training as part of his national service as a Royal Welsh Fusilier, went on to be commissioned, serving in the Caribbean, in Germany, and with the Sultan Oman Scouts. And he was delighted to be back here, and the warmth that he felt for this location really came through in the filming that was done here. And you will have seen there's some work going on outside the front of the barracks. I am absolutely humbled by Offa Community Council, who are taking forward an issue where they have commissioned a bronze statue of a regimental goat and goat major handler from the Royal Welsh Fusiliers to mark the heritage of this barracks, well over 100 years service with that regiment and with the army. So linking those relationships, and more broadly with the Air Force and the Navy, that long tradition of service in Wrexham. So I think you'll agree that we have a very bright future here, both for the reserves and the cadets from all the services, and we're really looking forward to taking that forward to a really vibrant community of both reservists and cadets. So thank you very much for coming tonight. We are delighted to host you in a face-to-face event. Finally seeing this number of people here is a great privilege for us. So thank you very much indeed.